Hello, I'm Wai Ming, and I work for the Kuchara organization, and I'm a long-time student of His Eminence, the 25th Samurai. So today I'll be sharing with you the topic about that the Dorje ban does exist, and there's much evidence to prove the existence of this ban. So you might wonder why would I want to share about this particular topic? This is because I've seen many people, whether they are offline or online, they like to claim that there is no such thing as the Dorje ban. And of course, that's not really right. That's not really the truth. And if they deny the existence of the Dorje ban, of course, this serves to prolong the Dorje ban to the detriment of Dorje practitioners and people. So why would they say that there is no Dorje ban? One of the main reasons is that the Central Tibetan Administration, or CTA, who governs the Tibetan exiles, they always claim that there is no such thing as a Dorje ban. So many people are misinformed if their main source of information is from the CTA. And there are always many claims by anti-Dorje people that the fact that monasteries like Shugden and Sepom exist, it shows that Dorje people have the freedom and there's no discrimination or ban against Dorje. However, if you check further, you will find out that although the split, the monks leaving Ganden or Sarah, was amicable, but it was done under duress because the Dorje people, practitioners, find it very difficult to live under people who will try to enforce the ban onto them. It makes life very, very difficult. So is the Dorje ban so serious that we really need to talk about it? Well, for one thing, is the Dorje ban used to only be effective within the Tibetan settlements. It was confined. The damage was confined to the Tibetan settlements in India. But of late, you can see that the Dorje ban have moved on to a global level. I mean, for example, in Singapore about 2 years ago, there was a teaching at a Singapore Dharma center. And outside the center, there was a signage that was posted saying that the teaching does not welcome Dorje practitioners. So you can see very clearly that the scope of the ban is not just confined to Dalai Lama's teaching. It has expanded beyond that. And that's not very good news from Dorje people. And on top of that, another example of the ban's effects going globally is I heard about 2 years ago, there was a Tibetan family in the US. They were Dorje practitioners, and they opened up a restaurant. And the people who did not like Dorje and discriminated against Dorje people, they created tremendous problems for this family. So much so that the family actually had to give up the business totally. So the Dorje ban is a very serious issue. Moving forward, let's look at the evidence that prove that the Dorje ban actually exists. During the early days of the ban, several TV networks actually made videos because they picked up news about discrimination and segregation against Dorje worshippers at the Tibetan settlements. So the networks like Al Jazeera, France 24, and also Swiss Public TV, they made documentaries. And in these documentaries, it was really clearly seen when a monk who practices Dorje entered shops in Tibetan settlements. And these shops, they were enforcing the ban. Then the monk could not get any service, could not buy any products, and so forth. So the Dorje ban, in this case, was creating difficulty for people, Dorje people who were trying to get supplies or services. Furthermore, there was a video that featured Samdang Rinpoche and also His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. And in that video, if you Google it, it says very clearly the Dalai Lama and Samdang Rinpoche was enforcing the ban. It was so the enforcement of ban extended to getting Tibetans in Tibet to also enforce the ban. So in Tibet, there are people who are discriminating against Dorje practitioners as well. Then there's also a documented case whereby the Dorje society in Delhi, they tried to sue the CTA for implementing and enforcing the ban. I really don't think anyone has time and resources to waste if there is no shred of truth in their allegations, especially going all the way to the Indian courts. Then if you look at the CTA run websites, they make references to Dorje as Dorgyao, which is a derogatory way of calling Dorje. They actually have about 107 articles on Dorje, and all of it are not in a good light. Then if one were to travel to the Tibetan settlements in South India, you can see a lot of shops, government agencies, even hospitals. They have many signages put up that do not welcome Dorje people. Yeah. And if I were to encounter someone who says that, there is no such thing as Dorje ban, I will ask them this question. You find me someone, a CTA employee, that is still practicing Dorje. Of course, there will be no one that fits that bill, because all the employees that used to practice Dorje would have either given up or they would have left the services. They would have left CTA, because no one who practices Dorje can hold a government position. They would have be asked to sworn out, or they will have to leave. Then more recently, Sarah Monastery, they tried to impose that the people who did not wear the people who did not practice Dorje, they need to wear a badge. Although the action is not intended at Dorje practitioners, but by identifying who are the non-Dorje practitioners, automatically you will know who are the Dorje practitioners, which is a form of segregation again. And even more recently, one of my colleagues tried to stay at the Ganden Shadze guest house near to Delhi. And when she first asked for the rates, the people there, they were quite accommodating. But once she revealed that she was a Dorje practitioner, the staff were very uncomfortable, and although they were not rude, they obviously did not want my colleague to be there. And of course, they denied her they denied her to stay at the guest house because she was a Dorje practitioner. So you may say, what's the big deal? You can't stay in this hotel, just stay in another hotel. I think in circumstances whereby one is a Dorje practitioner and one has medical issues, and all the hospitals are run by people who are anti-Dorje. When you have a scenario whereby your life is in danger because of medical issues and you cannot get the services from the closest medical facility, I think that's very dangerous. Yeah, and that's very risky. So the Dorje ban really inconveniences many Dorje people and puts them at harm. So from what I've shared just now, I'm sure it's very clear that the Dorje ban is alive and is active, and he has spread to other parts of the world, not just the Tibetan settlements in India. So, in conclusion, it is very important to let the world know that the Dorje ban is still on and is creating tremendous difficulty and inconvenience for Dorje people, lamas, and also practitioners. And if anyone were still to tell me that the Dorje ban does not exist, I would recommend them to please go to www.samramji.com, because the website contains a vast corpus of information about the Dorje issue and the effects it has on Dorje people. I'm sure the vast amount of knowledge there can satisfy the worst skeptic and naysayers about the Dorje ban. So concluding, I feel sharing the truth about Dorje ban is actually extending compassion to people who practice Dorje. So please have compassion for everyone, and especially one's enemies, because that is spiritual and that is the Buddhist way. Thank you very much for tuning in. See you again next time for my next video sharing. Have a good one, everyone, and goodbye. Thank you.